And here's what happens, friends. We try not to deal with death. We try to ignore it. You can eat your vitamins, you can go vegan, you can buckle up and drink bottled water, you're still going to die. You're all going to die. Some of you will die many years from now. Some of you may not make it through today. I hope that's not a prophetic word, but some of you may not make it through the day. And some of you will die tragic deaths like these people did. You won't see it coming, and you'll die unexpectedly and suddenly. You are a sinner. Sinners die. You will die. And you don't know when. And these people died tragically. And they come to Jesus with their question. Why did this happen? And this is what happens when tragedy comes. We try to not deal with death. We try to ignore it as much as we are able. Someone's sick, put them in the home, put them in the hospital, put medication in their body, make them go peaceably, make them go painlessly. We don't want to see it. When they do die, let's dress them up in nice clothes, put them in a nice box, make them look as if perhaps they were almost still alive. Let's grieve a little bit, shut the box, and move on. And then tragedy happens. And in this day, it was the massacre of the worshipers, and it was the death of the construction workers. They come to Jesus. And they ask him questions. And the first thing that Jesus does is he refutes karma. Because karma is stupid and dumb and wrong. And it leads to cruelty and not compassion in moments of suffering. It just does. Karma teaches that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And there are stupid preachers, karma preachers in that day who are saying, well, good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, and all the worshipers got slaughtered and the 18 construction workers died. They must have been bad people. Thankfully, we're alive. That means we're good people. Is it true that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people? Or sometimes the bad things happen to pretty good people? Now, we're all sinners. But in the case of those who were murdered worshiping, these are believers who were going to temple. They probably walked dozens, hundreds of miles, carrying their sacrifice, underwent ritual purification, walked up the mount, went to the temple for the Passover, publicly confessed their sins, made a generous offering, and were asking God for forgiveness when they got murdered. That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem like they're the bad people. They're sinners, but they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing exactly what God asked them to do, and they got murdered while doing it. What about the construction workers? They were serving God. This would be like us starting a campus, and the volunteers all show up to prepare the building, and the roof collapses in, and 18 volunteers get killed. You'd be very upset if some stupid karma preacher said, well, they must have been bad people. Because bad things only happen to bad people. Who's telling us this? Who is? Jesus. Good person or bad person? He's God. So let's say that in the good category, there's actually one person. His name is Jesus. In the bad category, there's everyone else. Does anything bad happen to Jesus? Yeah. The best person is going to suffer the worst fate. He's going to get murdered on a cross. Betrayed by his friend, abandoned by his other friends, executed by his enemies. Jesus absolutely obliterates the folly of karma. The best person suffers the worst fate. So the first thing Jesus says is, when you see suffering, don't ask the wrong questions. Don't ask, why God? Why them? What happened? Are you not just? Are you not good? Are you not sovereign? Are you impotent? Are you evil? Do you not care? Do you exist? When tragedy happens and death is absolutely thrust before us and we can't avoid it because it's in the news, we need to be careful not to ask the wrong questions. We don't always know what God is doing. We live by faith, not by sight. We get some of our questions answered in this life, but the Bible teaches elsewhere that we know in what? Part. We see dimly. One day, when we're with Jesus on the other side of resurrection, all the questions will be answered. We'll see it all clearly. We'll know it all fully. Until then, we live by faith, not by sight. God doesn't give us answers to all of our questions. He gives us Jesus. Someone who has suffered and died and risen to take away our sin, give us new life, and get us to the kingdom where it all makes sense.